I just screwed up the cool intro. Oh god. Pretend that didn't happen. Make sure all notifications are on Facebook. You hit the bell under post, you go to highlights and change that to standard. By default, it's going to only send you some of the posts. And I've had a lot of people tell me that they're getting their videos, my posts, days later. Please change it to standard. The same thing with YouTube. Make sure you hit the bell. By default, it's going to say personalized. You want to change it to all. That would really be a big help to me and it would support me on the channel. And thank you. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to warm up a little bit. Let me fix Facebook real quick because Facebook is not running for some reason. And so I'm going to try to fix that right now. Not sure why it's not working. And for people that watch the rebroadcast, I will, I'm going to put a timestamp at the bottom. With this. Okay, there we go. I can fix it. So we're going to be talking today about Christine and the situation that happened in Miami. You guys in the chat, or Flossie, if you're here, can you guys let me know, am I on Facebook? I don't know what's going on with Facebook. We're going to be talking about Christine, and we're going to be talking about, oh yeah, it stopped. That sucks. So what I'll do is I'll share it to Facebook and I'll figure it out after, so I don't take away from you guys. My bad, guys. All the planning that I did today and somehow it goes to poop. Thanks, Facebook. Amazing. Give me 1 second. We're going to get those people to come over here. So we're going to talk about Christine. We're going to talk about these guys, what happened. We're going to look at some of the, I think it was the bond hearing. There's a couple of clips at the bond hearing. We're also going to talk about Miami. And what I think is messed up because these people want to bring race into everything while these people came from out of state and destroyed the place. So just hang on me 1 second. Facebook Live messed up. Come over to YouTube. Can't bother with it. So we'll just post that there. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Let me put the chat up on the screen too. Let me see how the chat's doing. And by the way, like I said, whoever's watching the rebroadcast, I'm going to put a timestamp at the bottom so you can skip to where we start talking about the story. Saturday evening, kind of 5 p.m. Really nice weather outside. Well, no, it's kind of too hot. Not really that nice, to be honest with you. Bill, hey, what's up? Haley, Marit, have you guys heard of the story? MH Nasty Boy Pro. Hemi, what's up, man? Creation. I said that already? Mary, I can't pronounce your name. I can't pronounce anybody's name. It's iCkEdMeL, but you could call me Mel or Melvin. That works too. Taurus, hey, we're going to be we're gonna be doing a little, maybe tonight. I gotta check with the Discord people. We're gonna do a little Dr. Phil stream on Discord. We can't stream it on YouTube because copyright and all that stuff. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining. Let's see where we're gonna start. So what I thought we could do, because this story was requested by damn, I got my blank. Malinda. The story was requested by Malinda, and it's about a woman that traveled from Pennsylvania and came to Florida for the Miami Beach. She came by herself. She's 24 years old, and there's these two guys involved in this situation. Evoire Collier, 21 years old. The other guy is Dorian, if I'm saying it right, Taylor, 24. They all came for spring break. And what I thought we could do is, first I'd like to start by reading this pretty long article, kind of long, to kind of introduce some of the background with Christine and some of the background with these guys. And then we can get into some of the news clips and some of the court hearing and all that kind of stuff. Link for Discord. Towards the end of the stream, I'll post it. I'll post it for you guys. The link will only be active for 24 hours. And it's really unfortunate Facebook's not working. It sucks. I have followed Duty Ron. Yeah, I saw Duty Ron. He donated to the GoFundMe. He was like a nice guy. Okay, so let's get started. How can we do this? What's the best way? So that's Christine there. Over a little bit. Sorry thing. Okay, something like that. So Christine Englehardt, 24. Some of the things that she did. So she ran marathons. I had pictures. So like the intro pictures that I started with, you can check that out if you haven't seen it already, if you're just joining now. But she ran marathons. She was studying for nursing and managed a pizza restaurant outside of Philadelphia. This month, she decided to travel alone to Miami Beach, which has attracted thousands of young people from across the country during racist, how do you say that? Is that a new word? We're going to have to, like, on the channel, we're going to have to, like, a dictionary thesaurus thing for Melvin, for iCkEdMeL. Spring break. We already have gallivant. And hundreds of miles away from North Carolina, Evoire Collier, 21 years old, was a former high school athlete who hoped to become an occupational therapist. He moved in with an older friend, Dorian Taylor, which we're going to talk more about, with a murky past. And the two flew to South Florida to join the party scene. Yeah, we're going to party. Yeah. I wish these people didn't come down here. And by the way, you're going to have to bear with me because my throat, I feel like I'm coming down with something in my throat, but I'm not sure what it is. It's like just there, kind of tingling. I've been taking salt, lemon, all this kind of stuff. It's just weird. So I got a big thing of water. And so just kind of bear with me a little bit. In Pennsylvania, Englehardt's friends and family are reeling. They started a GoFundMe page to help pay for the funeral. As of Wednesday, the family had already raised $35,000, which now it's at $61,000. So they passed their goal of $20,000. So one of her friends, Samantha, which I'll play the clip here, in a minute. You're going to see her talk. She had one of those laughs that could light up an entire room, said her friend, Samantha DeFrancesco, who was organizing the fundraiser. She's the last person you'd ever expect anything like this to happen. She said it wasn't out of character for her to want to explore alone, although she added, we're all trying to figure out why she wanted to go down to Florida. This, I have the full clip, so we're going to watch that in a minute. So just hold on for that. She's an only child. She lived with her parents in Richboro, Pennsylvania, about 20 miles outside of Philadelphia. On her Facebook page, she often shared posts about animals, a story about a pig rescued from a slaughterhouse, a video about a male pug cuddling with his puppies, a plea for people to adopt dogs, and animal shelter. She was studying nursing in Bucks Community College. and she was an assistant manager at Jules Thin Crust, a local pizza chain. Oh Lord, my phone. And so here's the avid runner. Englehardt was also an avid runner. In a 2019 Facebook post, she indicates that she was cautious about her surroundings while running alone. In it, she described an encounter with a suspicious man in what looked to be a broken down car who repeatedly tried to flagging down as she ran outside Tyler State Park, Pennsylvania. She alerted park rangers. So this is, let's see here. This is the post. So if you ever feel unsafe in any way or have a feeling something isn't right, don't hesitate to notify police. Also go with your gut, she wrote. Please be on alert for any suspicious people or cars. This is a dangerous world now, unfortunately, and you never know what anyone's true intentions are. That's not the whole post, though. Let me get you the whole post. Let's see. Let's get it here. Let's get it together. So the full Facebook post. Get that on the screen. She said, last week I was running past the Tyler Arts Center building and saw in the parking lot a car with a white t-shirt hanging out the driver's side window. As I was running past him, the car started beeping at me and the driver waved his hand out the window. I assumed he was broken down and needed help, but my gut feeling was telling me something wasn't right. So I kept running and didn't stop. Today around 1 p.m., I ran past the same area and there was the same car with the t-shirt hanging out. My heart started racing. As I ran past him, he beeped again and waved for my attention. I immediately knew this was some kind of predator scheme. I waited until I wasn't in sight to stop to call 911. Luckily, park workers were driving by and I stopped them and told them to get to the park ranger to investigate, for this was now the second time the same man was doing this. They dispatched a ranger immediately and thanked me for alerting them. So if you ever feel unsafe, that's just what we read. Don't hesitate to notify police. And this was July 5th, 2019. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the chat. Had a little rough start. Sorry about that. I'm not sure if that Discord link will work, Flossie, but we'll see. And I had some trouble on Facebook. We'll deal with that later. So I guess this is just YouTube exclusive. What I wanted to do also was play the news clip, one of the beginning news clips. So on March 18th, this is where the whole kind of incident started. March 18th, she ran into two men that Miami Beach police say had dangerous intentions. According to an arrest report, Coller confessed that he and Taylor met the woman at a restaurant and that Taylor gave the girl a green pill as they walked on Ocean Drive. Coller told police that he believed the drug was Percocet, a powerful pain reliever. A Miami Beach detective testified, which we're going to listen to the audio, during Monday's bond hearing. Coller said that he went along with Taylor as they planned to have sex with the victim. By the time Taylor got Englehardt to the Albion Hotel, she could barely stand, and he had to hold her up as they got into the elevator. The arrest report said that the men sexually assaulted her in her room, even as she felt unconscious. Then they stole her cell phone and credit cards before leaving. It was unclear from the arrest report whether Englehardt was drinking before they met, and whether she took the pill willingly or if she was given it. And that's kind of an important thing because I saw a lot of people blowing up her Facebook under the post. People were saying all kinds of stuff, like bringing race into, I don't know why they got to bring race into it, but we're going to talk about race later. Talk about all kinds of stuff, and why would you go alone, or why would you take a pill from random strangers? But we don't know if it was slipped, put in the drink, or if she took it willingly. I don't know. And then one of the things that I was wondering about too, and I'm asking this, I don't know. Let's say you go out and party, right? Go party, you meet some people, and somebody offers you a pill. Let's say you just take it willingly. If it's a bad batch and you die, are those people responsible that gave it to you? Is it the dealer? Is it those people? I mean, I know it depends the intentions too, because I think these guys intended to do it because they found more pills with her when they found her body. But I'm just kind of curious about that. And then also with consent, they're saying she couldn't have consented. We still don't know anything about the toxicology report. It says here the fact that the victim was under the influence of alcohol and narcotics, she could have not consented with the defendants, the police report said, which we're going to listen to all this. Okay. All right. Let me play the first clip for you guys. And we'll get started here. Sorry, I had a little bit of a rough start today.
Action News reporter.
As much planning as I did, it was like a little bit of a rough start.
Annie McCormick spoke with some of those who knew the victim, and she's live in Richboro with reaction tonight. Annie.
Yeah, and Rick, the victim, Christine Englehardt, grew up here in Richboro. Today, we talked to family and friends who are still trying to figure out how this happened. Investigators are still piecing together the case, but they do believe that she made contact with the two suspects at a restaurant.
She was the person you brought in that made everything, lit up the whole room, you know? Her laugh was like the most contagious laugh.
Family and friends of 24-year-old Christine Englehardt reeling over the news that she died after she was drugged, raped, and robbed last Thursday in her hotel room during a trip to South Beach, Florida.
This is the last person I would think anything like this would ever happen to, you know? And it breaks your heart when you know it's a genuinely good person who would do anything for anybody. To think like that they went through what they went through, it's what they went through. Sick.
A judge ordered no bond for the two suspects, 21-year-old Evoire Collier and 24-year-old Dorian Taylor. Investigators are trying to determine if a green pill the pair allegedly supplied Englehardt was the cause of her death.
Couldn't even pick up a phone to call the police or 911.
And here's the crazy thing. So we're getting started. We're warming up. I'm warming up because Facebook failed. Some of the things that I'm going to show you guys, they were partying the day after too. So not only, okay, they met at a restaurant, and I mean, this is what we know anyway. That's where they first met, and at some point she takes the pill, she's given the pill, I don't know, or it was slipped, and then she's seen going to the hotel. These two guys, they do what they did. I think 30 minutes later, the article says they leave, and the next day or the same day, that following morning, because it was like at 1 a.m., they're out partying and walking around like it's nothing. And so, and they don't have murder charges though. That's the other thing. There's no murder charges with this, which I believe the family of Kristen is pretty upset about that. That's what the petition is about.
One after they did whatever they did to her.
I had sex with her multiple times. And once she was unconscious or out, it remained inside the unit, did not call for assistance or help, and began to take all her items, cell phone, credit cards, and cash.
Englehardt.
And they took her stuff. That's the allegation. They took her cell phone, credit card. On my notes here, if I can find it, got a bunch of notes. Supposedly, too, they went out and bought, okay, here it is. Then they allegedly went on a shopping spree, with the victim's card at various locations across Miami Beach, including a liquor store. So, I mean, even if we go with the whole thing, oh, maybe it was an accident. I mean, they stole her stuff, and they went out partying.
Graduated from Council Rock High School North and worked as a manager at Jules Thin Crust Pizza in Newtown. Her mother told Action News her daughter traveled to Florida alone. Friends began a GoFundMe for the family and hoped to honor Englehardt, who loved life, running, and animals, while they try to learn how this could happen.
We're looking for pieces too. We just don't understand what had happened.
And Rick, the suspects face charges including burglary with battery, credit card fraud, and also sexual battery. Now, if the medical examiner does make a determination that that drug allegedly given to her played a role in her death, they could get their charges upgraded to manslaughter or murder.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been me, it could have been anybody, you know? And that's just like, that's what struck me, is that she's basically the same age as me, and that this happened to her.
Miami Beach resident Cameron McLean says her heart broke after reading about Christine Englehardt, the Pennsylvania native who came to Miami to celebrate spring break, but instead was drugged, raped, and robbed, and left to die in her hotel room.
I've been in situations where people have offered me things, and I didn't take them, but it could have happened easily to me or to anyone. And when you're drinking maybe a drink and you turn away, someone can slip something in so quickly.
Friday, Miami Beach residents and city officials came together for a vigil in honor of Christine.
I couldn't let Christine's passing be in vain. We're so angry over this.
According to security footage from Christine's hotel, the 24-year-old could barely walk to her room, and police arrested 2 North Carolina men in connection with her murder, 21-year-old Evoire Collier and 24-year-old Dorian Taylor. This is video of one of the men being taken into custody. And Nick D'Annunzio, the Miami resident who organized the vigil, is hoping Christine's death will bring about change on the beach.
And our goal through this is to really create a dialogue to how can we bring reform into our Deco district to mitigate crime.
But Chopper 4 video from Friday night shows residents may be getting some reprieve. There has been little to no tourists on the beach since the implementation of the 8 p.m. curfew. But despite the recently quiet nights, residents like McLean say they're afraid in their own city, and they will continue to mourn the loss of those who died during spring break.
So that's the first little news clip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little bit about their supposed background with these 2 guys, and then we're going to get into the court hearing. And I mean, spring break was a mess this year, a complete mess. The streets were filled, people fighting, violence. I mean, I don't know how so many people could be out there. And the leaders of this place, they were saying that it's racist for the cops to use the rubber balls or whatever they were using. We're going to get into a little bit, which kind of pisses me off, because they just let all this violence go. And I think it was just, Malinda said 5 people dead. They just let all this violence go for some political optics. They abandoned the people of Miami for some optics, just to look good, to race bait, to do whatever. Here's an interesting post too before I continue reading. If I can find it here. This one. I had a good post. Lost it. Okay. Let me do this. Let me just read then and I'll find that post, because they were talking about the city officials. Flossie found it for me. I'm going to have to look it up again. So, switch it here. Oh, wow. That's a lot better. I should have just done that. Oh, move that up. I like that better. Okay. So Collier, he's the 21-year-old. He's on suicide watch at jail. He appeared Monday for the bond hearing, which we're going to watch, wearing a padded vest designed so that inmates cannot hurt themselves. His aunt, Tanda Collier, said that the family is also stunned by the arrest in such a chilling crime. But Tanda said that she believes Taylor, his roommate, is to blame. So it's not her Collier, her family member, but she believes it's this other guy, and they're roommates, her nephew. And she's saying that supposedly this guy Collier was scared of Taylor. It's devastating. My whole heart is praying for her family, Tanda said, adding for her nephew. He's a good kid and he wouldn't hurt a fly. And supposedly he's never been arrested before, according to the court testimony. He attended high school in Durham, North Carolina, but lost his mother to illness. His father was not part of his life. To remain close to school, he moved in with the family of a high school friend, Adrienne Long, the friend's mother, who took him in. Long described Collier as a good student who ran track and played basketball. Graduating, he considered joining the military. Collier eventually moved into the apartment in Greensboro, North Carolina, with Taylor. Long said she didn't know much about Taylor's life, but that she and her family believed that he was a bad influence. And this is the guy here. And this is not to like excuse anything that happened or sympathize or anything like that, but I'm just giving a little bit of the background. So supposedly they state that Dorian's a seasoned criminal. See here, public records for Dorian Taylor, born in 1996. Let me just show you the picture so we don't get it confused. This is Dorian. A little bigger. That's Dorian who we're talking about. Dorian's 24 years old. And then this is Collier, just so you have a little facial. And so Dorian, the first guy, born in 1996, shows multiple arrests in Ohio, Florida, and North Carolina. The Ohio case, the man was arrested and convicted for carrying a concealed weapon in 2018. Same person also did 24 months of probation for burglary, conviction out of Bay County, Florida. The Dorian Taylor sitting in Miami-Dade is listed as having been born on the same day and year, but a different month. However, mugshots taken 5 years apart appear to show the same person. I was trying to look his background up, and I had a hard time finding him. So I don't know if there is something going on as far as Malinda said, going to send you by text messages his confession. Yeah, please send it to me. Yeah, send it to me. No arraignment date for Taylor has been set. He's already pleaded not guilty through the lawyer. Coller's arraignment date is set for April 5th. And they're working on her funeral. Okay, so let's get to some of the court hearing, which is kind of interesting. And I also want to pull up, I want to find that post. And I want to get some lemon to put in this water. I need some lemon. My throat kind of acting up. So I'm going to play this to start, and I'll be right back. Just gonna watch. Okay. All right.
So, Mr. Collier, for now, I'm going to advise you of a few things. Number one, do not talk about the facts of the case over the telephone. Talking about facts over telephone calls. The state attorney, they are recorded, and the state attorney's office do listen to your calls. So I advise you that would not be in your best interest, because they can use the statements that you make on those phone calls against you down the road. Secondly, I'm going to advise you that talking to persons in custody is not in your best interest about the facts of your case.
Yes, sir.
Now, I have some other questions for you. Are you going to school?
Yes, sir.
Where do you go to school?
I'm
All right. Do you have any money to afford a bond?
Yes, sir.
And Dr. Melendez here is your sibling?
Yes, my older sister.
Okay. Do you give the attorney's office permission? Do you give us permission to have conversations with her on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've had a chance to review this arrest affidavit. I just have a question for the state. Do you want me to disregard the stay away order? It appears the victims.
Yes, Judge, I did an error.
Go ahead, Ms. Duncan. What would you like to say?
Your Honor, at this time, I'm not sure that the state has any comment, unless, of course, the court has any questions. I was the only thing I will advise the court is that I was the ASA assigned to homicide duty this past weekend on the North End and received a call from the detectives in that matter. The case is obviously not deemed a homicide at this time. It would be premature to say so. And so with respect to the filing decisions and the charges that the detectives believe they have probable cause for this time, it's based on the facts presented in the A form, Judge, and they went ahead and filed the appropriate charges. If something changes, then obviously it'll become a matter, obviously, of more seriousness given.
By the way, I've seen this judge on many cases before, Mindy Glazer. She's pretty good. I mean, I think she's pretty fair. And again, apologize for the rough start of the stream today. I did so much planning and it just kind of started like crap. What I'll do too is I'll edit. I think I'm just going to edit it after and put it together for Facebook, like a shorter, cleaner version. But this is, I believe, the bond hearing right now. There's another clip that I got to show you that Flossie sent me. That was pretty interesting. And I'm going to look over some of the notes while I listen to this. And I supposedly, they say they thought it was Percocet, or one of the guys said they thought it was Percocet. And supposedly, I don't know if it was like a green pill. It was a green pill, but like I don't remember the markings they said. There was a news clip that said the supposed markings. It was like M30 or A30. And the problem with that though is just like a lot of times people, they just make these pills, they press them. I think it was a pressed pill. They just press them. People, I remember back in the day, especially dealers or whatever, they just get a presser. They press the pills. They get a machine. There was a video. Maybe we could watch a video after if you guys want to. Oxycodone. I thought it was Oxy too, but the thing with that is that sometimes don't they cut that stuff too with like fentanyl? Alexa said, "Oh no, honey works wonders." I'm gonna get honey for sure. I've had experiences too where I'm not gonna say it here. well, okay. Let me ask you guys this, and we'll continue watching. Let's just say hypothetically, let's say she took it willingly. She took the pill willingly. Are they still responsible, or should be charged for murder? I mean, they say they stole her stuff, credit cards. They went on a shopping spree. I mean, it seemed like they knew what they were doing. And they pleaded no guilty. What's their end game? Right? No, not guilty. What are they going to say? They didn't know. They just thought she was passed out. And the other thing that was kind of messed up too is that the lawyers. So I believe these are the lawyers down here, right? For each one. Oh, we show you guys right here. I think these are the lawyers right here for each of the defendants. And they filed the motion to suppress. Because supposedly one of the guys confessed, or he said some statements, and now they want to suppress it from the media. They don't want the media to hear it. They don't want nobody to know, which I thought was kind of weird. And so I think NBC, if I'm correct, they're going to challenge them. They're going to be part of that. But I believe that Mindy denied the motion. But I don't know. It's going to be kind of messy. See what the chat's saying. Opana 20s are green, and those can definitely OD. If you're buying it off the street, you can get it cut with fentanyl. Okay. If you're getting it from your pharmacy, it's straight oxys. Well, the thing that I'm wondering too is that because they found pills on her, if they're the ones that provided the pills, why would they leave the pills behind? That's just weird. I don't know. Malinda messaged me too. All right, thank you. I'll keep an eye out for your messages. Okay. So I'm going to keep playing this. And then after this portion of the bond hearing, I'm going to take a look at what she's sending me too.
The victim's deceased.
I saw these clips.
Okay. State, let me hear from you, Mr. Ugarte.
Gentlemen's in school. I understand. I've read the A form.
Panel.
I understand that it's horrific that someone has passed away. I'm still going to ask that Your Honor set a bond on this case.
Look at his face. He's like, I know it's. Let me get you a bigger screen so you can see this guy. I know it's horrific that somebody passed away, but I'm going to ask for a bond. I mean, I know they got to do their job, but
I understand that it's horrific that someone has passed away. I'm still going to ask Your Honor.
he's like, he's like pretending to care, but he can't, or whatever. He's trying to seem sympathetic, but still.
I've read the A form. I understand that it's horrific that someone has passed away. I'm still going to ask Your Honor to set a bond on this case. I know that Dr. Melendez wants to speak on his behalf. Are you okay with hearing from her?
Yeah, I just have a question. So it says the co-defendant, according to, I guess, his statement, the co-defendant gave her a pill, a green pill with a marking on at 8:30. I don't know what that was, if it had fentanyl or some other drugs, but we know a victim is deceased. And then he charged a burglary with an assault or battery. The initial entry, I don't know if that was...
It seems to be voluntary, but I can't.
Your Honor, from what I understand, what was disclosed to me by the detectives at this time, there's still, the toxicology is still pending, so we're not sure what the content of that drug is. But with respect to the victim's inability to consent, apparently it's depicted from the surveillance video. Again, I have not reviewed it. This is coming from the lead detective on this case, that the victim was in no condition, even upon entering the hotel room. She was clearly inebriated, under the influence of something, as was depicted via surveillance cameras leading into the hotel together with the two.
Okay, so Lori's clearing it up. I thought the pills are found in the hotel where her body was found. She's telling me that the bag of pill Collier, which is let me get his picture up. Collier, the one that's supposedly never been arrested and all this stuff. Lori's saying that he had, let me read the text again. Collier had the bag of green pills when arrested, along with her belongings. Okay, so they took her belongings, and the pills, he had the pills on him. Okay, I thought I read that, and I'm going to look over the notes again. I thought that, like, the pills are found in the hotel. I'm not saying the pills were hers. Obviously, you know, it came from these guys, but I thought they found pills in the hotel as well. So I'm going to double check that and read that.
Defendants in this case, and his position was, of course, with a burg bat, it can be the entry or remaining therein. Judge, it can be charged two ways, and so that's the position of the lead detective.
Okay, so the question is, you're saying that the entry was the intent to commit a crime therein, that being a sexual battery? I mean, I'm not sure, or robbery?
Yes, Your Honor, that's what was conveyed to me by the lead detective. Again, Judge, as the court's aware, the state does not make the probable cause determination for the officers. He advised me about the circumstances.
Malinda says, I can't disclose what I heard, watched, since the judge is waiting for the appeals to release evidence, surveillance, clothing. But she says that no, 2 days later, pills were on the second perpetrator because the first defendant admitted everything. Okay. All right. And so, according to Daily Mail, I mean, a lot of the reports too say that police say the two men gave Kristen a green pill and sexually assaulted her at the Albion Hotel around 1 a.m. on Thursday. Then left her unconscious in the room and took her credit cards and cash with them to fund the rest of their trip. The only reason I was asking about the pill stuff is I'm just wondering, um, from the perspective of the law and stuff like that. It's not clear whether she took it willingly from them or if it was slipped. But I'm just was wondering and asking the question: what happens if you take a pill willingly, and it's and I'm assuming that it depends on the intention of the person that gave it to you. But even if it's an accident, right? Because doesn't that happen to dealers too? Don't dealers get charged if they find a dealer with the murder? That's what I'm wondering, because right now they haven't. These two guys haven't been charged with murder or manslaughter or anything like that. So I'm asking the question because I'm wondering, what are these lawyers? What are they going to have up their sleeve? I do appreciate the clarification, but I'm wondering what they're going to have up their sleeve. What are they planning? Because let's just say hypothetically, even if she took it willingly, wouldn't they still be charged with manslaughter or murder? Reading the chats. Who purchased the hotel, South? He says, so according to the report that I read, it was her hotel. Let me get you the source for that. But from what I read, it was her hotel that they went back to. Okay, so according to the Miami Herald and the Daily Mail, according to the police report, Collier told officers that the two men met at the restaurant with Christine before giving her the drug as they walked along Ocean Drive. So, I mean, my notes are very kind of all over the place, but this is what I have. According to the Miami Herald and the Daily Mail. I guess this was part of the confession or something. So the group headed back to the Albion Hotel, 1650 James. Let me pull up the other thing too, where I know there was an article that specifically hotel. Okay, here we go. I found it. Sorry, it's a lot of notes. But let's see. Okay, police say the two men gave Englehardt a green pill, then sexually assaulted her at the Albion. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay, then they left her unconscious. It's her hotel though, right? I saw several notes, or I thought I did. It was her hotel. Yeah, to her hotel. Three of them are seen going to her hotel. I believe it was her hotel, and they left her there. What's Millennial saying? The chat's going crazy.
He was obviously in the best position to know, having not only reviewed the surveillance video, but also post Miranda spoke to one of the co-defendants. And there were some admissions that came out with respect to the circumstances by which they ended.
And Hemi said if she brought the drugs, which they be charged. It's pretty clear that they brought the drugs. What's not clear is whether she took it intentionally or if it was slipped. And then what I'm wondering, let's just say hypothetically, let's say she took it intentionally. That's what I'm wondering. If she took it intentionally, could they still be charged? I would think they could, right? Because just thinking of other situations when somebody buys from a dealer and let's say the stuff is laced or cut with something, don't they get in trouble too? Yeah, let's see. And okay, crime online.
Up in that room, and the victim's consciousness, the level of consciousness from the moment they entered the even prior to entering the hotel, her state of consciousness, and upon entry and while inside the room. It's my understanding that she could not have
Malinda,
given consent based on her state. They would have been aware of that and took advantage of that for sexual purposes.
Okay.
Is the position.
All right. And anything else from you, Mr. Garcia?
Well, Judge, we can have Ms. Malinda speak on his behalf.
Okay, ma'am.
Dr. Malinda, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Dr. Quantum Melendez. I've been the legal guardian of Evoire Collier since he was 7 years old. Our mother passed away in 2007. I will speak on behalf of my brother to say that he has never been in any trouble. He just turned 21. He has never been in any type of situation like this. I'm severely bewildered by these charges and accusations against him, but I can attest for his character, and I can.
So this is his sister, I believe.
You, Mr. Garcia?
Well, Judge, we can have Ms. Malinda speak on his behalf.
Okay, ma'am.
Dr. Malinda, sir.
She has about.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Dr. Quantum Melendez. I've been the legal guardian of Evoire Collier since he was 7 years old. Our mother passed away in 2007. I will speak on behalf of my brother to say that he has never been in any trouble. He just turned 21. He has never been in any type of situation like this. I'm severely bewildered by these charges and accusations against him, but I can attest for his character, and I can attest for responsibility.
The only thing, if you're attesting for his character, what kind of a person leaves a woman that's drugged, passed out, unconscious, let alone have sex with an unconscious woman? Like, she's unconscious. What kind of person then leaves? Okay, because let's talk about character. What kind of a person leaves and you're partying like it's nothing? Now, we're going to talk about this lady later. She has nothing to do with this. These guys photobombed. So she was walking and her sister took the picture, and these are guys, the suspects, whatever. They photobombed and kind of like got into the picture. This was after Christine was dead and found in the hotel. They're out at South Beach partying like it's nothing. So what kind of character are we talking about, right? Because I was thinking about this earlier too. I was just thinking, like, damn, you got to be a cold ass person. Like, I just couldn't imagine how I would react if somebody, first of all, was unconscious. Like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Are you? Then you take a credit card and belongings, and you go on a binge purchasing stuff, go on a shopping spree, and partying the next day, and she's dead. Like, you got to be a particularly cold person to not have any kind of emotion or feelings or anything, just to keep it moving. Like you've done it before. It's almost like procedure. And then for the the attorneys for these two guys to attempt to suppress the evidence. So, Malinda sent me this article, which I think I have up already. Oh no, it's actually a different article from Crime Online. Okay, so let me put this up. And let me get you the full screen. See what I'm talking about. Looking at. Lawyer pushes to hide key evidence after spring breaker dies half naked, raped, and drugged in a hotel room. A Florida judge denied a motion to suppress information after a suspect allegedly confessed to drugging a young woman. They're trying to suppress that confession. According to NBC6, Collier pleaded not guilty during a court hearing last Monday. His defense lawyer also filed a motion to suppress the state's evidence, including Collier's interview with law enforcement, which supposedly this is where he admitted what happened, in which he allegedly confessed to being in the room with the victim after the co-defendant gave her drugs. And the request was denied. Here's the arrest too. I guess we could just show this. Oh, I thought I downloaded that. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
And now to new video showing their arrest of one of two men accused of drugging and raping.
Oh, thank you for the super chats. Oh, Deanna Pittman, I hope you're doing good. She said, I love you, Mel. I love you too. Thanks. I hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you for both of them. No character at all. Yeah. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Look at this mess in Miami. A mess.
Raping a woman who was later found dead.
A heartbreaking story that shocked people not only here in South Florida, but across the country as well.
NBC6 reporter Carolina Peguera is live in Miami Beach with more details on this new evidence this morning.
Good morning, guys. Well, that video shows several Miami Beach police officers making that arrest of one of the suspects in this horrific case. As well comes to light new images and photos of both men enjoying their day in Miami Beach, and they're vacationing just a day after the alleged crime. Now, new emerging video shows the arrest of one of the men from North Carolina accused of drugging and raping Christine Englehardt, who later died in a South Beach hotel room. According to detectives, 21-year-old Evoire Collier and 24-year-old Dorian Taylor were seen on surveillance video walking with the victim into the hotel, saying video shows that the victim was intoxicated or drugged, is unable to give consent. In Monday's hearing, though, we learned one of the defendants admitted they gave the victim a green pill and they had sex with her, and once she was unconscious, the detectives said they stole her phone, credit cards, and cash. And then another photo coming to light showing what appears to be the defendants continuing their vacation in the day after the alleged crime. We spoke to a woman who was in that picture, and she also saw the men. Let's see what she has to say.
To just do that, and then just to continue to stay in the area, and even and also using her credit information and things like that's just sickening. For them to just be out and still vacationing is what just blew my mind. I was always pretty cautious, but now it's just like it just makes it scary. Like it just adds fear to it.
Now, the woman in that photo, Deasia, she says she does not know the men. Her sister actually took that photo of them, and once she found out about this, she contacted police. Now, they have not released the cause of death of the victim, and as of now, the defendants are not facing any charges relating to her crime, but that may change later on.
So I believe the charges could totally be upgraded. We're going to get back to the court hearing. Sorry, I interrupted that. But I totally believe the charges could be upgraded. They're waiting for the toxicology, which we don't know yet. Thank you, Deanna, for the super chat. Miami is a mess, worse than New Orleans. But yeah, I guess that woman maybe could have been next, or could have been her, or could have been anybody, really.
It can be the end.
We go up to the.
And they
right here.
From you, Mr. Gardner?
Well, Judge, we can have Ms. Malinda speak on his behalf.
Okay, ma'am.
Malinda's here.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Dr. Quantum Melendez. I am I've been the legal guardian of Evoire Collier since he was 7 years old. Our mother passed away in 2007. I will speak on behalf of my brother to say that he has never been in any trouble. He just turned 21. He has never been in any type of situation like this. I'm severely bewildered by these charges and accusations against him, but I can attest for his character. And I can attest for responsibility of him standing trial for whatever charges. If you would just please let my brother come home and let our family handle the situation appropriately. We will do whatever is necessary that Miami-Dade County asks of us. But please just let us have the right to get him home and get him safe and out of the jail system. And I will take personal responsibility for him.
All right. I have to tell you, I think I'd like to hear from the officer, because I need to find out. I understand what the state's saying. Miss F, I don't know if you're able to, if you're going to handle this, Miss Duncan, or my regular state attorney, Miss F. My bigger concern is that count one. I'm not sure if there's probable cause for count one. And I understand what you're saying. I understand the tragic events that arose in that room afterward. You're saying she was...
Your Honor, I'm happy. Sorry, Your Honor, I don't mean to cut the court off. Were you asking a question?
Yeah, is there any way to get the officer? I'd like to know, I'd like more information about what he saw, the officer saw in the video. Was she walking in on her own 2 feet? How do I know the victim didn't give permission or consent to go into the room with her and him and the co-defendant?
I'd be happy, Judge. Again, this was kind of impromptu. I only, heard about the need to appear for bond hearing maybe about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. So
Can I
I'm
set it
happy.
at 1:30?
Yes, I'm happy to see if the detective is available for that purpose.
Reset it in the afternoon. And I'm just going to put it as the probable cause as to count one.
There's the state attorney at the bottom, right there.
Are we setting them both for afternoon? No, I need to see the other one. Other co-defendant. Mr. Collier's case, I'm going to set at 1:30. So if his sister wants to come back at 1:30, that's fine. Okay?
She can.
All right.
That's what I want to see too.
So I can get her phone number real quick. So I can call her.
Ma'am, the public defender asked for you to call him back so he can get your phone number. All right, next I have Dorian Taylor.
Thank you, ma'am.
I want to see the surveillance footage. Yeah, that's going to be a big
Mr.
deal.
Taylor, you were arrested on 4 counts for serious charges.
And I'm sure the attorneys have seen it. It probably looks bad. Maybe that's why they're trying to suppress the evidence.
And I'll appoint the public defender's office for you.
We're going to invoke. Sir, please be advised, all phone calls from the jail are being recorded. Do not talk about the facts of your case over the phone. State Attorney's Office do listen to your phone calls, and they will use statements that you make that suggest, imply, or flat out admit to any criminal activity against you.
The same thing. I'm going to reset this in the afternoon for probable cause as to count one.
Secondly, do not talk to other persons that are in custody about the facts of your case. Persons are known to leverage their case against your case for the purpose of getting a better offer. You're going to be back in the afternoon. We're going to invoke the counsel.
Thank
We'll be
you.
back in the afternoon so we can have a conversation at that point. Good luck.
Drugged when she walked into the hotel.
I'm going to listen to part of it. I'm going to play part of this, but then I have because of Flossie. Thank you, Flossie. Flossie found the actual, the rest of it where the detective came out and spoke about what he saw on video. And, so let me just do part of this.
Very disturbing allegations. Detectives say there's video evidence from the hotel that makes it clear the victim was intoxicated or drugged when she walked into the hotel with the 2 defendants, and the detectives say she was clearly in no condition to give consent.
The victim, I should say, couldn't even pick up a phone to call the police or 911.
So let me here. That's the detective. When I play the other clip, you're not going to see him because it's like, I guess it's a different camera angle. But this is the detective here, Lewis something.
911 after they did whatever they did to her. And so there's probable cause for both counts 1 and 2.
The judge making it clear the seriousness of the allegations. 21-year-old Evoire Collier and 24-year-old Dorian Taylor arrested over the weekend accused of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman who later died in Miami Beach hotel room. The 2 also accused of stealing her credit cards, cash, and phone when they left her. One of the Miami Beach detectives on the case told the judge video from the hotel showed the victim clearly intoxicated or drugged when they walked in with her.
It was actually staggering a little bit, and at one point, co-defendant Taylor held her behind her, around her neck, to basically keep her stable.
That same detective saying this at the other defendant's hearing.
So I want to play the next clip, but basically, yeah, he's saying that she was staggering. That at one point, it seemed that one of the guys was holding her up by her neck. I guess it seemed like. Also, let me just read the super chats real quick, then we'll go on to the next thing. Diona, thank you so much. She said, "Oh my god, it has nothing to do with race." We're gonna get into that too. Oh my god, we're about to touch on that. Let's do this next one here. Okay. So this is from the YouTube channel. Flossie found this, Scales of Justice. So check out that channel. It looks like they do a bunch of court hearings, arraignments, trials, whatever, all that kind of stuff. It's on this channel, Scales of Justice. Okay. So the text here says, Collier and Taylor from North Carolina were arrested in Miami Beach, Florida, and are charged with sexual battery and stealing a woman's credit cards and spending the money during the trip. Investigators are working to discover if the woman died from an overdose after taking a pill given to her by Collier and Taylor. Cause of death has not been determined.
We reviewed the video surveillance. At this point, we noticed that the decedent or victim was not stable on her feet. Basically, they walked with her into the elevator. At one point before they entered the elevator, we see on video surveillance that this defendant was holding her from behind her, holding by the neck.
So holding her from behind her, holding her by the neck.
So she would stand still because obviously she was.
And look at it. Oh, let me get you the bigger screen. Look at the expression on his face. I don't want to play big screen the entire time because I don't want copyright detection. But just look at his face. Like he's just like
stand still because obviously she was from behind her, holding by the neck. So she would stand still because obviously she was intoxicated or drugged. Once inside the apartment, everything inside. Testimony from the co-defendant on this case was that they had sex with her multiple times.
Multiple times.
And once she was unconscious or out, they remained inside the unit, did not call for assistance or help, and began to take all her items from inside the apartment, which we have this defendant on different surveillance videos using credit cards at various locations in Miami Beach.
Is there a question pending at this point?
Well, he's telling us what happened. So he was using the credit cards, the victim's credit cards.
Yes, ma'am. He also took her cell phone when he left the hotel unit.
So, sir, I'm finding probable cause for count 1, burglary with an assault or battery. There's also probable cause for count 2, as well as count 3, the fraudulent use of credit cards and petty theft. So count 1 is no bond.
I'm going to ask the same, Your Honor. We're not considered setting a bond.
I'm not setting a bond. He's being held no bond. It's a very serious charge. He battered a helpless victim, broke in there and inappropriately committed these law violations. Count 2, there's probable cause. It's $25,000 bond. Count 3, probable cause for fraudulent use of the credit cards, $5,000, and petty theft for the cell phone is $500. Sir, your arraignment will be in 21 days. Stay in touch with your public defender. And you're going to have what's called an Arthur hearing before your division judge to see whether or not you can be released, not pending the arraignment. The victim, I should say, couldn't even pick up a phone to call the police or 911 after they.
So this is the guy. I guess this is like the suicide thing, the vest, whatever.
They did whatever they did to.
Not sure what exactly that's supposed to do, but.
Her. And so there is probable cause for both counts 1 and 2. I'm concerned he's a flight risk. He's not from the state of Florida. And this also happened on the 8th.
G Money said, "How do they know it was multiple times they had sex with her?" Yeah, no idea. I'm sure there's a lot they're not telling us, but yeah, I don't know. It might be from the supposed confession that they're trying to suppress. I really wonder what was said on that confession, and I really want to see the surveillance footage, and I think that they should release it. The attorneys were worried about the court of public opinion.
18th of March, and they just arrested him yesterday. So that's my ruling. Go in front of the division judge with anything further.
So I believe it was her hotel. I'm not exactly sure. I'm online. It says inside her hotel room here. I mean, so I don't know. It seems like it was her hotel room. At her hotel room. I mean, not that it really, I guess, not that it really, I guess, matters much. I guess it's just a detail. So let me share, I guess, the GoFundMe. By the way, it's in the description of the video. The GoFundMe, the petition. It talks a little bit about her. They've exceeded the amounts that they were trying to get. Put it right here. I'll put the links one more time, though it is in the description. And petition. And the petition, I'll just briefly go over it a little bit, and then we'll talk about Miami. Well, the petition's in the description. The things that the petition was about was getting justice for Christine, and I mean, they were upset that, you know, the charges hasn't been raised yet, which I think it will be. You know, I really do think it's going to go up, especially with that judge. I think they're just waiting. But it says here, shockingly, closer review. Shockingly, the charges against Collier and Taylor exclude murder, manslaughter, rape, and any drug-related offenses. Which that is a big deal. But I believe they will upgrade them. But it's kind of weird because they said that, like, definitively, like, you know, they did what they did to her multiple times. And so if that's the case and they're stating that, why not the rape charge? Why not the drug-related offenses? Because according to the police report from the news articles, they gave her the pill. And the pills were found on Coller. He had her belongings as well. Kind of weird. So what happened here too, we're going to talk a little bit about Miami, South Beach, the politicians. And they said here that I was very disappointed. Stephen Hunter Johnson, chairman of Miami-Dade's Black Affairs Advisory Committee, blah, 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 people that do nothing. I think when they're young black people on South Beach, the response is, oh my God, we have to do something. Oh, I got to find that post. By the way, Flossie, can you send me that post you sent me earlier with the whole... They were petitioned. They got in front of the city hall. Didn't they go to City Hall and they did something in South Beach? They had a special meeting on Sunday. Miami Beach City Commissioners extended the Thursday through Saturday curfew and causeway closures through April 12th. Glendale Hall, the chairman of Miami Beach newly formed Black Affairs Advisory Committee, said that he was on Ocean Drive at the time, helping goodwill ambassadors guide the crowd off the street, but did not see what led police to use pepper balls. The ambassadors are city employees who hand out masks and help tourists. So the black leaders are saying that unnecessary force was used. They said also that cops make 1,000 arrests as rowdy spring break crowds overwhelm the city. I was gonna make a little video with all these little pictures, but I'll show it to you guys. And so the city leaders, they abandoned the people. No, I'll find it. Don't worry, I'll find it. The city, the leaders abandoned the people. They say it's racism that 1,000. How many was it? What did they say? The other 1,000. Cops make 1,000 arrests, and that it was mostly black people, right? When I look at these pictures, I don't know. You tell me. I see mostly black, maybe Latino, some white. And there was a lot of crazy videos online of these people trashing the city. The one I'm talking about, Flossie, is the one where no city leaders showed up. None of the city people, commissioners, whatever, showed up to the vigil for Christine. Just kind of showing that it's only when it's about a certain demographic, you know, when it's only white and a black person. When there's an incident between a white and a black person is the only time there's outrage. Any other, I think I found it. Yeah. Let me put this on the screen and I'll keep showing the pictures. And I have a video that I want to play from Brandon Tatum as well. Oops. So this person said, "Thank you, Nick." He's the guy that organized the vigil. For those of you that are mad as hell and will take it anymore. I guess he meant to say will not take it anymore. At 3 p.m. today, we will be on the steps of the City Hall, Miami Beach, protesting to our mayor and other government officials to bring reform to the lawlessness that they've allowed in Miami Beach. They'll allow lawlessness. They'll allow people to come, people that are not even from Florida, not even from South Florida, to come and destroy the place, shoot, kill, rape, drug, whatever. And when the police go to try to do something, it's racist. Yesterday at the vigil for Christine, not one current elected official attended, with the exception of Michael Gongora, who messaged he was out of town for his birthday. Mickey Steinberg, I don't know any of these people, called, but so many of the wonderful local police members were there, even though they trash police and they hate police. Not these people, but just in general. As well as opinion leaders from the black community, all to denounce the behavior that was going on in the Deco district. So they didn't show up, nothing. And this is what Miami was looking like. I don't know what restaurant, by the way, she was at when she met these guys. See what the chat's saying. Evelyn said, Flossie, before she took the pill, you don't know what the conversation was. Well, supposedly, I mean, we really don't know what's the truth of this all. Supposedly, they were walking along Ocean Drive. She was given the pill. No, I don't know. Did these guys take the pill? I mean, that was Miami. We're gonna watch a video, but that was. Imagine living out there. God. Forget about COVID-19, right? This is from the Daily Mail. And not everybody was acting crazy, because I saw some video clips. I couldn't find it now, but I saw some video clips where there were people out there, there were older people, more mature people, that they just wanted to have fun. They didn't want all this craziness. But I guess the younger people were coming on some wildness. I couldn't imagine being out there. Who would want to be in such a heavy, thick crowd like that? I would get an anxiety from being packed like that. I mean, is it racist that a lot of black people got arrested? I don't think so. It just happened to be a lot of black people out there. I mean, that's what it was out there. So you just let them take over the city. They're not even from South Florida. Let them take over the city, rape, ravage, drug. I mean, it's not all of them, but, Jesus Christ. The festivities took an ugly turn as some of the men in the crowd jumped on the parked car, trashed it on Sunday. This was on Ocean Drive. I couldn't be a cop because I couldn't do this. I couldn't do it. Take a look at this video.
Quite frankly, I'm concerned that the behavior is getting it's getting a little bit more for us to be able to handle.
At night, there is no question that it becomes a place that feels a little bit out of control or a lot out of control.
Get that curfew. We out here. We out here. No sleep, period.
I don't know. I think this crosses like that fine line. I don't know if it's a fine line. Is it a fine line? Consent? Or not? I'm not an expert. I don't know about any of this stuff. I mean, I know it's a big thing. You know what happened that night. I'm gonna play some of this too. Brandon Tatum. Put him on the small screen. He talked a little bit about spring break. By the way, the GoFundMe again, like I said, is in the description. The petition is in the description as well. You should check it out. And whoever these leaders are in Miami, they're trash. They're trash. They don't want to do nothing. Let me close this. Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of messages.
A little pushback over it because they soft all the. Get into this, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. My wife brought this to my attention because I can't cover everything all the time. But my wife was just on the internet and people are.
Salty, yes. Salty asks, what did the young men purchase with the victim's credit cards? According to one report that I had here, supposedly liquor and other stuff. They didn't specify what else. Some of the notes that I had was like liquor store somewhere. I'll look it up.
Giving a little pushback over it because they soft and they made of wet toilet paper and marshmallows mixed together. But they're too soft to understand the truth. What's going on in Miami is indicative of all the things that I talk about. People want to rail against people based on race. And I don't think that that is the appropriate response because race is not always consistent with the way people act, but culture is. And I said this from the very beginning. My criticism of quote unquote black folks is the black culture. And don't you sit here and lie and act like black culture is dominated with excellence. That's not the norm.
Oh, Lord,
the black culture is not identified with lawyers and doctors and successful folks. Black culture is identified with what I'm about to show you. Rappers, athletes, and all these people that are most of them are degenerate. Look at the most popular black people in the culture. Look at the most popular black people. A lot of them are degenerates. A lot of them are people who are not even functionally intelligent enough to have an articulable conversation with you. I mean, they all worry about racism, and a lot of them are dumb.
Oh, Lord, don't say that. Don't say that, Taylor.
Come on. A lot of black people that are smart, but they're not the popular ones. They're not the ones that everybody talked about and the ones that everybody wants to emulate. It's the dummies that everybody want to emulate. And if you have ever grew up black in America and you ever went to an all-black school, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. In most of these schools, not every black school, but you know what I'm talking about. Everybody wants to be like the bad dude. Everybody wants to be like Hot Rod, selling dope at school. He got all the money and the girls. Everybody wants to be like him. Nobody wants to be like the Carlton, who was smart and intelligent and going somewhere in life. He wasn't cool enough. But anyway, I don't want to beat a dead horse. But let me show you what's happening in Miami, to the point in which culture, these people who are indoctrinated and who are brought up in this dead culture, is causing the city to have to be on shutdown, lockdown. People are getting killed, beat up, bludgeoned. You can name it, because of black folks in this culture here. Let me play a little bit of video, because I don't want you to just believe me. Look at him. Look at him.
This is the shit that was going on in Miami. Even worse. I saw Brandon talk about this. I was like, let me just play it towards the end of the stream. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. And by the way, Malinda, send me whatever information you have. I might just, because I honestly, I screwed up this stream. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I had everything prepared, and I just I didn't do a good job. So what I'll probably do is I'll make a dedicated video, and I'll spruce everything up and fix it up with the details of it. It was a little messy, and Facebook didn't work out for me, and it was all weird. But I wanted to play this Brandon Tatum stuff because he talked about Miami, the degeneracy, these leaders in place, so-called leaders, that literally just failed the residents, abandoned them for optics or whatever. Oh,
this girl is popping out. They stomping people.
Look at this shit.
They saying this.
Miami.
Look
Spring
at
break this year.
Do you see anybody breaking this up? Do you see it? Now let me tell you what you will see. Pay attention. You'll see video cameras. Look at him. He taking selfies. He taking selfies. They got video cameras. Homegirls then fell out. They beating each other blinded. They beating the mess out of each other. Explain to me how white privilege is such a problem in our country when black people are doing this all the time. This is a black cultural standard. Them brothers out there ain't helping these girls. They laughing at them. They taking selfies. They on Snapchat, TikTok, and all of this stuff. All of the drama in Miami is black people. Have you noticed the video? Have you seen the video? This is just one of many videos. You can Google it yourself. Don't believe Tatum. It's black people. Why? Because of this culture that have been fostered, and nobody wants to fight against it. If you continue to live in this culture, black folks will forever be treated differently, perceived differently,
that's what
and
it is.
Never as a whole.
But Evelyn said they will allow anything for money to come in. That's what it is. It's just about money. And one of the articles I was reading, they were saying they weren't even like buying stuff at restaurants. They weren't even patronizing. They were just, I guess, partying, turning up.
Make it anywhere in this country. Fighting, cussing, twerking. I mean, they got girls twerking on cars. I'll show you the video, but I want you to go and discover it yourself. Girls twerking on cars, booty in the air.
Oh, Lord.
Dressed like no home training, no manners, and all of this is cool. This is cool. For most black people, this is just fine.
Patronage. I don't know how to say patronage. I don't know. Patronage. I mean, they're not doing anything for businesses out there.
I'm just keeping it 100. And why are you talking about this, Brandon? Because I want people to clearly identify the problem in this type of culture. The same culture that causes people to resist arrest, the same culture that caused people to fight police, the same culture that accepts people who are doing degenerate things against police, and when they get busted, nobody want to tell the truth. The same culture that tonight, as we speak, somebody gonna get murdered in one of these inner cities, perpetuated by black folks. We gotta stop this, because this is more concerning to me than white people.
And the thing too about this Miami shit, like, I mean, I live here in South Florida. There is no racial bullshit going on like you see in some of these other states and stuff. None of that. I mean, to my, from what I've seen, it's just people acting crazy, and they're really in all kinds of colors. But at the South Beach, the spring break shit, you could see for yourself what it was, and they're saying it's racist, and they let these people tear their city up. Kind of like this Gavin Newsom guy. These people need to be pushed out of their positions, voted out, whatever the hell it is, and get them out of there. They don't care. They'll let the city fall apart.
Then KKK and white nationalists and white supremacy and systemic racism and implicit bias and all of this stupid they trying to sell you. This is more concerning. And this, ladies and gentlemen, has nothing to do with white people. This has everything to do with black folks in this culture. And how do you know, Brandon? I used to be in this. I'll be watching this video on World Star right now, laughing at it. Before I was delivered. I would have been right there watching this, laughing. If I was at this event, I would have been having it on MySpace and all that back when MySpace was popular. I used to listen to music that glorified stuff like this. That's how I know it's real. All you have to do is go down there. You could just go down there in this place, check it out, be down there in Miami, and what kind of music are they playing out here? They not playing Kurt Franklin. They not playing Aretha Franklin. They not playing it. They playing Gucci Man and Meek Mills and what are some of these other. I don't even know these rappers these days because they trash. But they playing these people. That's telling them run up on people, punch them in the head, go for broke. This is the degeneration of a culture of people that I think have the potential of immense greatness. Immense greatness. Black people are some of the most talented, most authentic people that I've ever met. But then you have this that just negates almost everything I just said. And don't get me wrong, there's black people that I think are amazing. Myself and people that I know, a lot of people that I hang with, people that follow me are amazing men and happen to be black. But then there's a lot of trashy ones. And I would argue that majority of black men in America either participants or accept this. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I've been black my whole life. I don't know black people.
What he's saying is true, though. I mean, especially what's going on in Miami. I mean, what are you going to keep calling this stuff? Racism? These people are trashing the city. Like, what are you going to call it? And what I realize with most of these people, as long as it's not happening to them, it's okay. They literally told police officers they were doing excessive force. Don't like stand down. I can tell you the local people are not happy about it. Until they're at your door banging and doing all this kind of shit and standing out in front of your place, you don't care. You don't care. Most people are sheep. And why are they suppressing why are the defendants, the defense lawyers trying to suppress the information, the surveillance, everything? Why? I mean, I get that. I guess they're defense attorneys, but that's pretty scummy too. Half naked. They left her half naked, raped and drugged in a hotel room. The thing that's a little concerning too, I will say, with the whole Chargers thing too, is that From the stuff that I read, from the stuff that I saw in the articles, it seems like they're really relying and depending on the toxicology of the pill. And I guess that's the point of the petition, right? It's like there's no rape charges, even though the reports that I read supposedly was done multiple times. I don't know how they came to that conclusion. I'm sure there's things they can't tell us, but there's things that they do, right? Forensics and all that stuff, I'm sure. And the fact that they stole her stuff, credit cards, and they're on a shopping spree, buying liquor. It's the same shit you're seeing here on this video. What these people are doing on a shopping spree. They had no worry in the world, right? Never called for help. See, with me, with this stream, I planned this today, but I didn't get to dig deep because I was looking into these guys. I was trying to look into these guys. I was trying to look into Evoire. I was trying to look into Dorian. The weird things, I couldn't find much. Now, I know they say the other guy doesn't have much of, like, doesn't have any record supposedly, but the other guy has a long history. Dorian, I couldn't find nothing. So I kind of wanted to dig deep because I figured, well, if they're trying to suppress the information, we should put out more information, right? That they don't want out. So if anybody has information about this, about these two guys, send it to me. We'll do another video. Like I said, after this, I'm going to either edit this stream. I prefer, I think I'd rather make a dedicated video. Well, I put it together, concise, 10 minutes long, boom, boom, boom. And we'll see what we can put out there because they're attempting, I feel like they're attempting to hide some stuff. And there's some weird shady stuff with their names. And even in the one report, even with the date of birth, it seems like. And this is really just the surface because I was talking to Lori and we were kind of looking into the aunt and the supposed sister or whatever she is and looking into it. They have like a long rap sheet too, but I couldn't see the details of what their rap sheet was because I was just curious. You know? It's amazing too that they were advocating for Evoire to get out of the jail system for what? So we can be like that other state. What was that where they killed this woman, Carmesia, whatever the hell her name is? Gets into a car accident, kills a grandmother, has a long ass rap sheet, right? Kills her, leaves the scene, gets arrested, bonds out after killing somebody, and then goes on live stream and makes cursing everybody out and blaming the grandmother. Right? And so you could literally, Alabama, yeah. You can literally kill somebody, bond out, and then go tease and mock the family and blame them. And these people will just let you out. And these people are getting used to it. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised this woman's like, oh, yeah, you know, this woman's dead, drugged, raped, but he's a good boy. Let's let him out. Right? Get him out of the jail system. Why? Why? For what?
Other than me and a few others that will critique this and say this is just unacceptable. All this is bad for business. All of this George Floyd stuff, all this protesting is bad for business. Y'all doing way too much. Y'all protest every time somebody gets shot, even if they right or wrong. That's way too much. It ain't that many brothers like me that say that. And that's one reason why I'm popular, because every other brother look like me, or many of them are afraid to say this, or they don't believe it. They think this is totally fine. It's not. The world is laughing at us because we doing this stuff. The world
and they probably wouldn't put up with this shit in other countries. As much as people complain here all the time, whining, complaining, bitching, you couldn't pull this shit off in some of these other countries. Try pulling this shit off in some of these other countries. As much as people complain, you're privileged just to be here in America. As much as people complain all the time, you know,
laughing at us because we do this and then complain. We do this and then blame somebody else.
Do this shit in China.
But we doing this.
North Korea.
Nobody. We doing this to each other. Why would we, if we really cared about black lives, and this is not the only situation. So don't, I know people gonna get on here and say, this idea, I grew up in this. This is not a one-off. If we really loved each other and we really was for black lives, we wouldn't be doing this to each other. We wouldn't be doing this.
And Miami leaders, they're worried about defending this. Right? It's just money. That's all it's about. It's money. Protect the money.
We will be respecting each other. These men will be getting out this truck saying, y'all need to cut that out because this is not how we act. This is not how we treat one another. This is not how black women treat other black women. And I'm going to say this and I'm done. If you expect people of the world to respect you and value who you are and don't judge you by the color or the cover that you are presenting, then you need to cut this out. All you got to do is go to World Star and you will see even worse. A whole channel, a whole website dedicated to black people acting like this. It's called World Star Hip Hop. Go to First 48. You will see an even worse version of this because you see people losing their lives. That's all you got to do. And then you realize why people like me are so upset and why I criticize this, because this is a problem that needs to be addressed and nobody wants to address it. Nobody really wants to address it. Me and others, we do. We physically do and we talk about it, but other people don't want to address this. It's too much for their psyche. But anyway, comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about what happened in Miami.
So, yeah, that was the Miami situation. And that's when all this stuff happened. I mean, I saved it for the back end of the stream because this is really about Christine and bringing attention. And I feel a little bad that I didn't do a good job at this stream. I feel like compared to the other streams, so I'll make a dedicated video. You know, but the timeline that I have here, and this is according to the Daily Mail. Thursday, March 18th, 1 a.m. Police say the men were filmed holding up a woman as she staggered into the hotel. This is this was at 1 a.m. This was at the Albion Hotel, South Beach. They said that the men gave Christine a green pill, then sexually assaulted her at the hotel on Thursday morning. They left her unconscious in the room and took her credit cards and cash with them to fund the rest of their trip. She was found dead in a hotel by staff next day. I mean, this shit is just dirty. I just couldn't even think that or conceive you to be a human, a normal human with any kind of functioning emotions or just any kind of sense or compassion or anything. These guys don't look at, and even in the courtroom, these guys don't look. You see their faces and stuff. They don't look any kind. They don't feel bad about it. These pieces of shit. I'm trying to like not go crazy or whatever. These pieces of shit are out partying the next day. That's how these people look at life. They're literally out partying the next day like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. She was found in the morning, Thursday, March 18th. Found dead in the hotel room. And then March 19th, Coller and Taylor were seen partying on Miami Beach again. On Sunday, March 21st, Evoire and Dorian were arrested. And March 22nd is when they made their first court appearance. According to the judge, and the judge says that we haven't seen the video. I would love to see the video. I think it's important. I really do think it's important for the public to see this because they just want to try to hide it and put it under the rug, even though I'm sure the jury is going to see it. But I think we have the right. We should have the right to see this kind of stuff because then it just goes under the rug. It just gets quiet. Nobody really knows what happened. It's just between those people in the court. And whatever happens, whatever charges they get to maybe go back to their lives. And nobody really knows what these people did because they shouldn't be able to have a normal life ever again. Just stay locked up. This is if the events what happened, it's what happened. So on Friday, March 26th, there was a vigil in Pennsylvania, and then and I think that was at the pizza place that she worked at. And then on March 29th, they had another vigil, family and friends. The charges to me is not too surprising. I really do think they're gonna elevate it. You see this all the time. I think they're just waiting to have their evidence and kind of ducks in a row. I can totally understand that, like, you know, if you're saying that she was raped and all sort of stuff, why isn't there rape? Why isn't there drug charges? For now, this is enough to hold him in. I don't know. Let me see what you guys in the chat think about this. That whole story that Christine told reminded me of this guy that we have here in South Florida. I don't know if you guys remember where I covered that story where this guy, a creeper, I did a live stream on it. He would be in his vehicle following women, like on their routes and stuff. And he'd be sitting in the car, like, taking care of himself. And there was multiple women, multiple reports. And it just kept happening over and over and over and over and over again until one day he got out of a car and he chased this woman while she was jogging, and she started running, and like he tried to grab her, but like she said she felt like his finger like brushed against the back of her, and she got away, and they caught him. He's out on bond. I think they have a, what do I call those things? They have that GPS tracking thing or whatever on his leg. But he had a whole long ass history. And it's surprising me, the people that do this, they can just kind of come right back out. Like a history of stalking women. You can just come right back out. And I wonder too, I think these guys taking that picture, I guess kind of led to them being caught. And so salute to the woman in this picture, because I believe what they said was that after they took these pictures and they heard of the story, I think they reported it or something. It almost looks like he has a razor in his hand or something, like a razor thing. Yeah, crazy. But ankle monitor, yeah. But I guess that's it, man. Thank you guys for joining the stream. I went for 2 hours. Wow. Really? Somebody said, how can you leave somebody for dead? I guess that kind of happens a lot when it comes to drugs. I've heard of a lot of stories of people just abandoning people, but to me, there seems like intention, because not only was she left and abandoned, you know, they took her credit cards and stuff. Maybe they thought because of spring break and there's so many people and they're not from town that nobody would find out. Okay, let me see what else. Yeah, if you guys could hit like, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, that guy, well, the South Florida guy, he's out right now. He's supposed to go back to court. He has an ankle monitor, but he's out right now. And the police reports that I saw, like, it was just this long ass history. I mean, there was even situations where allegedly kids were involved. He was like pulling up to places and he's like doing this stuff to himself, but he also kind of like wants to get caught and stuff. And there was like a situation supposedly that a child, like a teenager, reported. Ashley said, any updates on Angela? No, not really. Besides, she was found. We did a live stream on that the other day. She was found, and besides that, I haven't heard anything. I'm thinking honestly. Let me see if there's anything. I'm gonna look real quick. I'm thinking honestly that they're not gonna talk about it. I think if it's the theory I was thinking, I think they're just gonna move on, keep it private, not release any details, and go back to life. And it seems like she may have had some sort of history of leaving, running away. Maybe she had a drinking problem. Yeah, and I'm looking now. There's no. She was found, went to the hospital, and that's it. And they said she had non-life threatening. She was in a non-life threatening state, whatever. So, crazy, man. I wonder if she's ever been to Florida, or was it her first time? Christine. Okay, so the other thing too, supposedly, allegedly, Collier said that he saw Taylor giving. So okay, Collier's claiming that Taylor, the older guy, the 24-year-old guy that has a longer history, or has a long history, supposedly of crime, that she was given the green pill and it said A30. A30. Which to me still doesn't mean much, because these pills could be pressed. I mean, when you type it in on Google, it shows up as a green pill that's morphine. But the imprint says E65330. I mean, I do see some other pills that show up as 830. Let's see. Real quick, just kind of curious. Yeah, nothing that would be. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Nothing of significance. Glyburide. I don't remember what that's for, but it's just like a maintenance drug. I think this is Abilify. This is just regular. You're not gonna get high off of this stuff. I don't. It's been so long since I've done pharmacy. Yeah, bipolar, autism, depression. Right, and these aren't green either. ABG30, no. Nah. You know, the only green one that showed, I to me personally, it's like, I mean, from all the things that I heard, you can't just go off of what the markers say on a pill, especially if who knows where these people got it from, and so it's probably pressed. People can put whatever they want on a pill. You know, the thing with this, it's E65330. I mean, you could just go days in circles. Not going to tell you anything, really. I'm really thinking, let me see something else real quick that will cut it. See this real quick. It's really, it's a needle in the haystack. They just really have to do a test and see what's actually inside. I mean, you hear about the fentanyl stuff all the time, like the lace pills, and the thing with fentanyl is that it's so strong and you need so little of it, and so sometimes the people cut it with that because they actually save money because they get to use so little of the vial. Nope. You just need a toxicology. You're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna find anything just searching. Yeah. Pill identifier. Let me see if anything pops up. Because the thing with that too, you gotta know if the imprint is on the front and the back. Some pills they might have a letter in the front, a letter in the back. Sometimes they have the letter just in the back of it, and it might be like A30 or separate or together, or maybe the A is on top and there's a line in between, like a fraction, and then the 30 under it. It's just so many. Let me take a look though. Can't hurt to try. Pill identifier. Let's see if anything pops up. I really believe it's probably some manufactured tainted stuff. Try one more. Search by imprint. A30. Color green. Let's see if anything pops up. Nope. Let me try separating A30. Let's see if that works. I'll show you guys what I'm looking. Let's just look at the pills with 30, just to see. Green 30 pills. The thing is, and I honestly do think too that if it was just that easy to identify, I think police would have known what it was by now. I think that's why they got to do the toxicology and stuff. If it was actually a legit pill and legit medication, they would have just looked it up and they would have been like, okay, that's what it is probably. You know? I really think it's probably some pressed stuff. These people do it all the time, and they make their own stuff. They cut it with whatever, and then they have like a press machine. I've always wondered what the press machines look like. Or you know what? Let me see. Okay, let's check this out. This is kind of interesting. Let's see what you guys are saying. I don't know. Could it have been ecstasy? Jessica said. I don't know. There have been people that have died from just one thing of ecstasy.
The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
We are in the midst of the deadliest drug crisis in American history, and the culprit is opioids. As many as 65,000 people died of a drug overdose in 2016. That's more than American casualties seen in the Vietnam War. But the statistics don't tell the whole story. So we canvassed the nation looking for some answers. In our series, The United States of Addiction, Dr. Nita and Judge Mary Shanowski went to ground zero of the drug crisis in Dayton, Ohio, while our producer Leslie investigated how these deadly drugs are coming through our borders. We know pharmaceutical opioid abuse can be deadly, but there's something even deadlier flooding our streets. That's black market fentanyl, 30 to 50 times stronger than heroin. And our producer Leslie investigated how it's being used in counterfeit pain pills that may appear completely harmless.
In Los Angeles and heading to San Diego, where the San Ysidro port of entry lives. It's the largest port in the nation, and the DEA says this is where the fentanyl and counterfeit pain pills are coming across our...
I got some other stuff too interesting. Let's watch this video. Where are we at? We're almost at 2 hours. Let's watch this video, and then we'll watch one other one, specifically talking about Florida and fentanyl, but this was a couple of years ago.
Borders from Mexico. undisclosed location right now, about to meet Special Agent Amy Roderick. Agent Amy asked us not to have our cameras rolling while following her to the location, so we're gonna go dark right now.
Thanks, Linda. Appreciate the super chat.
This new trend you're seeing, which is fentanyl, and why it's so much more dangerous.
Fentanyl is so dangerous because it's 30 to 50 times stronger than heroin. A kilogram of fentanyl here in San Diego, which is the cheapest in the United States, would go anywhere from $31,000 to $35,000. Once you take that same kilo and you sell it in somewhere like Boston, Massachusetts, the price jacks up to double that.
Tell me how the fentanyl is being dispersed throughout this entire country.
So the Mexican cartels are sending the fentanyl up through the traditional smuggling routes right here in San Ysidro and Otay Mesa. They can send it up in vehicles, they can send it across with people, they could put it in people's luggage. So there's no real limit to the ways they can get their drugs across here.
Thanks, Christine. Thank you guys for the super chat, man. I really appreciate that, even though I screwed up. Thank you.
In San Diego. And then from there, they go everywhere in the United States. If you were a cartel down in Mexico and you had an industrial pill press, the pill press will create thousands of pills per hour. You can illegally buy these on the internet to make these look as real as possible, to trick people into taking these fraudulent prescription pills containing fentanyl.
Can you explain to me how much harder it is to manufacture heroin versus make fentanyl, and why that's also fueling this crisis?
If you are a Mexican drug cartel interested in profit only, you're harvesting poppies from seed to harvest. That's obviously a very long wait. Not only that, you need the manpower to go and harvest the paste from the poppy, bring it to a lab and manufacture that into heroin. If you are buying precursor chemicals from China, you can basically have a couple of buckets, mix, and you have fentanyl, and you ship that right across. There's no harvest, there's no manpower. Obviously a lot better financially. There are small-time labs that can purchase chemicals directly from China over the internet or the dark net, and then they can manufacture the fentanyl or make fraudulent prescription pills containing fentanyl. And there's no way to regulate that. It's just someone who has no chemical background with some blenders.
What kind of counterfeit pain pills are you finding the fentanyl in?
Oxycodone, Norcos, but we've also seen it in drugs such as Xanax, which is not an opioid.
So they said oxycodone, right?
With some blenders.
What kind of counterfeit pain pills are you finding the fentanyl in?
Oxycodone, Norcos.
Norco is, I believe Norco, is it Percocet? Or I think it's a combination of hydrocodone. Okay. Which is codeine still. Yeah. Hydrocodone and acetaminophen. Percocet, isn't Percocet the same thing? Percocet. Oh, Percocet is oxycodone. And I think Tylenol. And that was hydrocodone.
We've also seen it in drugs such as Xanax, which is not an opioid. Pill shopping for any kind of drug on the street is like playing Russian roulette. So what I want to do right now, Leslie, is take you into our DEA lab to show you how powerful and deadly this fentanyl really is.
Before we get started, I want you to get suited up. Just 2 milligrams is considered a lethal dosage of fentanyl. Oh, yeah. It's really hard to actually see.
Just this amount.
Just this amount.
Can kill a human being.
Is enough to kill a human being. To kind of put it in context, a packet of sweetener contains about 1 gram of material. If you had
fentanyl, it's dosed in micrograms. Micrograms. So 1,000 micrograms is 1 milligram. And I notice a lot of times too, people with medication and pills, they look at medication by the number of the dose, and so they'll be like, example, they'll be like Tylenol, I don't know, acetaminophen, 500 milligrams versus, okay, let's say Xanax. Even though they're 2 different types of drugs, they do different things, but like 2 milligrams Xanax or 1 milligram Xanax versus 500 milligrams of Tylenol, they'll think that the 500 milligrams is stronger. But 1 milligram of Xanax, if you're not used to that stuff, is very strong. Lorazepam, all that kind of stuff. Like it really depends on the type. You can't just go based off of the number that you see. I'm trying to think of other medication, but I can't really right now at the top of my head.
Fentanyl of 1 gram amount, that'd be 500 lethal dosages. When I'm actually handling fentanyl, I have to protect myself. So I have Narcan just in case I might come across exposure.
And Narcan is used for opioid overdose and things like that.
What he's going to show us is 20 kilograms of what was thought to be cocaine. It actually is laced with fentanyl. Wow. How many counterfeit pain pills could this create?
50,000 pills, wholesaling for around $30,000. If you tablet it out, you're looking at multi-million dollars. So you can imagine if someone actually did a line of cocaine, which might be like 10 milligrams, and snorted it, they'd be dead before they got to the other end of the line.
The amount could take out 2 million people. 2 million people. Everything you see right here, they look just like the real
show right here. There we go.
thing. More than 20,000 oxycodone, which are the most popular pain pills on the streets.
Oxycodone.
One on the left is a real oxycodone, and the one on the right is a fake one.
These tablets are really good quality, and even to a trained analyst, I can't tell the difference. If each one contains some fentanyl, then potentially 10,000 tablets could be thousands of lethal dosages.
The thing too, I think when they're pressing pills, there's no like I don't know, guideline, there's no like whatever. I think they just put all the stuff together, mix it around, and there could probably be different varying doses. You know? 500 mics or 1,000 mics of micrograms of fentanyl, 1 milligram, can kill you versus Percocet alone, Vicodin or any of that stuff. Let me play this one from Florida real quick. I wanted to see what this was about. Murder charges for fentanyl dealers in Palm Beach County. That's kind of what I wanted to see a little bit too, like as far as like what kind of charges for dealers drugs.
At 5:30, a new law meant to charge synthetic opioid dealers with murder may take more lives than it's meant to save, according to critics of the so-called fentanyl trafficking bill.
Join us now, Contact 5 investigative reporter Maris Badcock on why critics want this bill struck from the books. Maris?
Synthetic opioids like fentanyl and carfentanil are up to 10,000 times more deadly than heroin itself. In fact, this photo from the DEA shows just how much fentanyl it would take.
Let me get you the bigger screen. Compared to a penny, huh? That's how strong that shit is. That's one way to talk about micrograms. It's less than 1 milligram. It's like a little like speck, just like that. That's why they use it, because it's you need so little and you can manufacture it in a large batch using very little and you save a bunch of money. It's all about money.
To actually kill you.
And you can use less of whatever drug you're trying to mimic. You just need a little speck of this and say it's whatever else, and you sell it and you make a bunch of money.
Now, while most people agree fentanyl dealing kingpins should be held accountable for dealing lethal doses, critics say charging dealers with murder may discourage some people from calling 911 if they witness an overdose.
Oh, wow. So that's a thing of debate. I need to look that up, and I'll probably, if I make the dedicated video, and just to be clear too, I'm not blaming Christine or anything like that. Just asking questions. I'm just wondering, because I'm wondering where these people are in their heads, the defense attorneys and legally and stuff like that. But I just wonder for Florida exactly what happens with dealers and lethal doses, overdoses and stuff like that.
A drug more deadly than heroin now has a law enforcement antidote in Florida.
You can't discuss the opioid epidemic without discussing fentanyl.
Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid 100 times more powerful than heroin.
4 grams of fentanyl can kill more than 1,000 people. We're talking about like mass murder here.
In this case,
Just last week, Sheriff Ken Mascara of St. Lucie County charged this woman with attempted murder for dealing a near-deadly dose of illegal narcotics.
well, the message should be clear among dealers that we're coming after them.
This new fentanyl trafficking law, which goes into effect October 1st, will make it easier for Florida law enforcement.
This was a couple of years ago, so this is probably in effect, but I have to look it up.
Like Sheriff Mascara to charge drug dealers with murder when they deal the deadliest drug of all, synthetic opioids.
It's the same as if they're giving the person a loaded gun.
But critics say this law isn't a silver bullet.
You know, the war on drugs has been a colossal failure.
Michael Collins with the Drug Policy Alliance says so-called drug-induced homicide laws, like those in Florida, put the wrong people behind bars.
It isn't the kingpins that will end up being arrested. You know, quite often it's going to be someone who's selling to fund their own addiction.
What is the alternative to let them go, to send them into treatment? We're talking about businessmen, not addicts. We're talking about drug dealers, not users here.
20 states, including Florida, have some type of drug-induced homicide law aimed at putting dealers behind bars.
That we want to make sure that we are not repeating the mistakes of the past. And a lot of these policies originated, you know, at the height of the war on drugs in the 1980s. And that hasn't helped with reduced overdose.
So I'm reading this kind of interesting article. I'm going to cut it after this. I feel like my throat's kind of acting weird too. I was kind of reading, this was from 2019, the Sun Sentinel. And I guess it kind of makes me a little nervous, I guess. It says, more drug dealers are facing murder charges and selling powerful opioid fentanyl to people who wound up overdosing. Prosecutors contend the dealers not only stuffed their pockets from selling the usually lethal and cheap synthetic pills, but intentionally killed buyers at the same time. Intentionally. The Florida law holds responsible those who supply and sell the drugs, which lead to a death, which makes sense. Responding to the fentanyl and opioid epidemic, lawmakers 18 months ago made fentanyl a murder weapon, much the same as a gun or a knife, joining cocaine, heroin, and other dangerous narcotics. While many overdoses are still deemed accidental, which kind of made me like pause. I was like, oh man. South Florida prosecutors in recent months obtained grand jury indictments for first-degree murder charges against half a dozen individuals. So there's hope. There's some hope. The first trial in the area to test the revised state law is set for early December. This was 2019 again. This is kind of interesting. The parents, what happened here? The parents and siblings of Thomas, a Boynton Beach man who died at the age of 36 on January 28, 2018, now have a chance to obtain justice for their son and brother. Last October, Palm Beach County State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg said accused dealer Calvin Warren, 36, is responsible for his death. Warren became the first person in South Florida to be indicted for first-degree murder charge after the law changed. Wow. So this is kind of just all really recent. According to his obituary, he once had a promising future, beginning as a New York State star high school baseball player who later earned a business degree from Methodist College in all these words. Fayetteville. I can't even read. North Carolina, and fathered a child. One of his roommates in Boynton Beach told police that last year he was recovering from He was a recovering heroin addict who seemed to be acting differently the week before his death. They didn't detail their interactions, but investigators noted that they obtained cell phone records and found in his pocket a syringe cap with the residue that tested positive for heroin. Warren's indictment and a news release indicate that heroin was mixed with fentanyl and made kill 50 times more potent. So he was given fentanyl mix. Most fentanyl comes from laboratories in China and is often smuggled through the U.S. by Mexico cartels and delivered through the mail, said the county's chief prosecutor. In February, Vicky Bakers, 41, was charged in the death of a purported friend, Candace Moreland, who died from an overdose December 16, 2017, at Saker's residence west of Lantana. I've never been there, but I've heard of it. Somewhere I've heard of that. Might have been a story. And so she was given 3 pills from an unnamed heroin dealer and gave 1 more to Moreland, who stopped breathing. Damn, so the friend buys the drugs. She was given 3 pills. The sheriff's office said Sakers bought 3 pills from an unnamed heroin dealer and gave. So she gave one to her friend to get high, and then she stopped breathing. In April, the alleged dealer, Deanna McCorvey, 23, was charged in the June 28, 2018 death of William Woody near West Palm Beach, where all the drugs are at. Palm. It's kind of interesting. Let's see here. In November, they had a case where Miami-Dade prosecutors announced a first-degree murder indictment for Nathaniel in the fentanyl death of a fellow inmate. Damn. At the county jail. Even the inmates are getting charges. The prosecution is seeking the death penalty for Vargas, who allegedly smuggled the drug into the lockup, records show. In February, Miami-Dade prosecutors obtained 2 more first-degree murder indictments. Alleged drug dealers Carl and David were charged with in the fentanyl-related December death of 22-year-old Daniel. So, I mean, there's hope. It's kind of interesting to see this in talking about Christine, because there is hope, but I also see, why it's important. I guess that the toxicology comes back. I'm sure it's mixed with something. It can't be just regular, whatever they claim it is. I wondered too if these guys will start snitching on the dealer. Like the guys wherever they bought those pills from, are they going to start snitching on them too? Wow. Earlier this month in Ohio, prosecutors in Columbus charged a doctor with 25 counts of murder in the death of 25 patients over 4 years. The physician is accused of prescribing fatal doses of fentanyl to critical care. So I guess it was intentional. Don't they call those people, those nurses or doctors, they call them like the angels of death or something? There's been serial killers historically that were in the medical field. See, angels of death. I thought that was like a terminology for them. Not medical. I thought they were called angels of death or something. More known angels of death include Beverly, English nurse who murdered 4 child patients; Kristen Gilbert, American nurse who's a convicted serial killer; Donald Harvey, American orderly and convicted serial killer. Yeah, it's like it's on Wikipedia. Angels of Mercy or Angels of Death. 2 names. Wow. Crazy. But all right, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Did I miss? Yeah, no, I didn't miss anything. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. We're gonna do, so let me send the Discord real quick too before I get out of here. Tonight we're gonna do Dr. Phil, Dulce, the mother, the interview that she did, which looks suspicious as hell. I don't think I can play here on YouTube because it'll get a copyright. And so if you want to join us, you can join us on Discord. Discord has like a members area, but you don't have to be a member. First of all, there's no charge. You can join Discord for free, but the members area is only for people that I know. So there's a public area, and so people are welcome to come to the public area if you want to watch the Dr. Phil thing tonight. Yeah. See what you guys are saying. Yeah, thank you guys for coming. Miss Gigi, BL, April, Katie, Evelyn, Sin. Hey, I hope you're doing well. Oh, Malinda says she'll be there. Okay, Malinda, we gotta talk. We gotta talk on the phone sometime so I can get I'm thinking like, let me see, did anybody answer yet? I'm thinking like 9 Eastern or something. I think 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern will be on Discord. See if anybody said anything. So yeah, that's it. Call you. Okay, I'll call you. We'll talk. Thank you guys. Take care of yourselves and peace. Have a good night.